You know, we all have or will go through seasons of sadness, hardships, and trials, and we tend to make those times harder for ourselves by not showing our hurt to others, at least according to my next guest, who learned this lesson 9 months after his wife passed away from stage 4 colon cancer. Jason Clausen found himself emotionally and physically exhausted after managing his responsibilities and his pain all on his own. So he decided to stop pretending like everything was okay, and he reached out to 14 of his closest family and friends to create his own healing team. Jason joining me today to share how each of us can ask for help in times of heartache. It's great to meet you, great to have you.
Thank you, bro.
Is it hard to revisit this story and what was the catalyst for what's become your approach to healing and help today?
It was initially, but
Yeah.
now that I talk about it all the time, it becomes a healing power. And what I tell the people, vulnerability invites vulnerability.
Yeah.
So it allows me to heal, and it invites people that are struggling or people that want to help me into my life again and again and again. So most of us that go through a difficult moment like this,
Yeah.
they want to go inward and they don't want to talk about it. And it causes you to feel the pain, feels depression, feel anxiety more
Yeah.
than you ever have. And the ability to reach out and invite people into your life allows you to heal the right way.
Well
and
said.
feel like you're not taking it on by yourself.
Well said. I know it's taken a lot of tears and struggle and personal challenge to get to that point, but you described that so well. Can you tell us about your wife briefly?
So my wife, 4 years ago, she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer and given 2 to 3 years to live, and 9 months later, she passed away.
You have 2 boys.
I have 2 boys, and we were sitting at the funeral saying goodbye to my wife, and then that's when everybody is awesome at the funerals. So they rally around you, they give you energy, but what people don't really understand is when the funeral is gone, the person that's going through the tragedy, that becomes the hardest moment to deal with because reality sits in. Oh no, I got to be a mom and dad. I got to be the hybrid. It becomes so heavy and difficult in that moment. So I remember just hard to wake up, being depressed, just going and struggling. And 9 days later, I'm a therapist. My boss calls me up and says, I need you back to work. So I went back to work 9 days later after going through this hardest tragedy of my life.
And what an interesting, I'm struggling for the word here, but the fact that you know the tools and techniques on paper, but to live that, right? You're a therapist by trade, but to try to live those principles personally must have been really hard.
Yeah, it's easy to teach people that are struggling, but it's hard to look in the mirror and coach you through that.
So you come up with this idea of I need a team, right? I need a squad. I need people who are going to help me and help us as a family heal. Who were you looking for to join this official team?
I remember when I went back, 9 months of struggling, I just said I had enough. Finally, I got on my phone and I text friends, family, people in my church group, in my neighborhood, people I grew up with and people I worked with. And I said, help, I need you to come to my house. And I called my own intervention and sat in my living room and talked about how to help me.
Why is it so hard to say that word help? Right? I need help. Why is that so hard? Because I think it's hard for everybody. I mean, I've interviewed, hundreds of people over the years who have found themselves on the receiving end of service, and they all say the same thing. It's so hard to be the recipient, right? To be the one taking in the help. Why do you think that's so challenging?
Well, especially for a male that wants to feel like they're strong and they can do it.
Sure.
And to say help is just something to admit that you need help, you need people in your life is so difficult. So nobody wants to say, I need you to help me. I need you to come do some things in my life. I didn't want to do that, but I got to a point where I was like, I'm done. I need help. I need help now.
Here's the beauty, though, of that outcry and that outreach. I don't even have to ask what the response was because I know you had a house full. I'm willing to bet money. You had a house full of people instantly.
Yep. I had instantly, they came at 7 o'clock that night, sitting in my living room. We talked about, we opened up and we shared about how I was struggling. They even pointed out things that I was struggling with, the boys were. And together we created this, what I call the healing team. And together was so powerful to have everybody invited into that circle to talk about how to help me. And it was liberating and take some of the stress and the pain and all the things that were weighing me down at that time and give me a break.
Here's what I love about this concept, Jason, is this is an emotional time. It's an emotional thing, right? It was heartbreaking what you went through, and hard, as we've described, to reach out. But there's a physicality or a realism to those needs. And so your team wasn't just made up of loving people. I mean, I know it was, but these are people that would fulfill certain roles. In fact, you've identified 5 people that you say everyone needs on their healing team.
Yeah. So